Hi everyone, welcome to Bonnie Carol Lee Makes Cards. Today's card features a fun stamp set by Studio Katia, Artsy Trimmings. I took my inspiration for this card from some pretty patterned paper by Moda Scrap Spring called Flowers. I loved the hand-drawn look of this paper and the pretty color palette. I began by stamping this image on Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock. I like to use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. It is Copic friendly and the alcohol ink from the markers doesn't cause bleeding. Because there are so many images, I did use a number of markers. I'm not going to list them all on my video, but if you're interested, they are listed in my blog post. The coloring was fast and easy. The colors I chose complemented the patterned paper background. I have blues and greens, grays, and a few earth tones. I used only 2 tones per image. To try to create some rounded dimension, I put the darker tone on the outside edges of the image. I then used the lighter tone in the middle, creating a highlight area. All these coloring tools were randomly colored, alternating between the different blues and the greens. When I was finished with the pretty colors, I moved on to my earth tones. Not that they aren't pretty, but you know. Again, I used just 2 tones to color in the paintbrushes and the exposed wooden part of the pencils. I used 3 cool gray markers to color in anything that I thought was metal and the erasers. Again, this coloring went very quickly. I enjoy coloring images like this. There's no pressure, it's just nice and relaxing. With the coloring complete, I now glue the panel onto a piece of white sheet foam. Because I will be fussy cutting, I want good contact between the foam and the paper. I place my MISTI on it to provide some weight and let it dry completely. While it is drying, I prepare my die cut sentiment. I'm using wafer dies from Simon Says Stamp, Hello Crafty Friend. The script is cut out of white cardstock, the shadow out of blue. I like to use Tombow glue for fine sentiments. When it dries, it is tacky and repositionable for some time. I apply small dots of glue and set it aside to dry. The patterned paper is attached to an A2 sized card base. I fussy cut along the top of the image, leaving about 1/8 of an inch border. With a good pair of crafting scissors, it is easy to cut through the cardstock attached to the foam. When I am finished fussy cutting, I do go back and do some final tweaks. Something I should have mentioned, before the panel was glued to the foam background, I did trim off the bottom end where the images of the pencils drift off. By the time I'm finished all the fussy cutting, my sentiment is dry. I had cut the script sentiment twice. With my tweezers, I'm able to easily stack them together. I line up the script on the shadow base, and because the glue is repositionable, I can make some final adjustments. I use Nuvo Smooth Precision Glue to put little dots of glue where my eyes need to be dotted. Yes, they were dotted with both the foam and the cardstock. This was probably the most finicky part of the card. And it would have been fine just using cardstock to dot those little eyes. The final assembling of the card is very fast. I use Nuvo glue to attach the panel to my card base. I tap the card vertically on the surface to make sure that the base is completely lined up. One of the benefits of using liquid glue is you do have a little bit of wiggle room. After adhering the die cut sentiment, I use a bit of double-sided tape to hold my card closed. I just find it easier to apply the Nuvo drops on a flat surface. When my card is dry, the double-sided tape is easily removed with no damage to the paper. That completes today's card featuring Studio Katia Artsy Trimmings. As an aside, this stamp set does come with another panel of craft-related materials. I definitely will be making another card using this panel. It is fun making cards for card-making friends. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for visiting.